Hello and welcome back to our second Battlemore video. Today we're going to be going over a couple more basics of our interface and a few ways where you can get more out of your play. So the first thing we're going to be going over is what we call the ability command card. So when you select multiple units, you'll notice we got a bunch of buttons that appear down here. Now, a neat feature behind this game is what I call the ability bleed system. So currently we have selected the Triton. He occupies the second row and he only has one ability in the A slot. If we selected the Vulcan, he's got three abilities taking up the Q, W, and E slots. And the cool thing here is if we select both of them at the same time, you will see that you can actually see both of their unit abilities at the same time because they occupy different rows. If we go and add the Chimera, he takes up the third row, and so we can actually see all three at the same time. Now, there's this little button down here, it's the unit icon layout. You can actually toggle between these. One lets you see every single guy that you have selected, and the other way only lets you see the guys that you currently have in your page. If you have more guys than you currently have selected that can fit in the page, then they go into the second one, which is over here. You can also just hit the tab button to flip between those. Now, as I told you in a previous video, there's a very good reason why I do not use the A key for our attack move, and that is because our ability card here takes up the left four buttons of your keyboard for each of your rows. So Q, W, E, R, A, S, D, F, Z, X, C, V. If you go and select another, you'll see that they actually use all of those slots. And because of this, you never have to move your hand away from the left side of your keyboard, and you never have to memorize what an ability is called in order to know what the hotkey is. All you have to do is look at where it is on the grid, and you can instantly know what the hotkey is. So for that reason, I selected the T button because that was the closest button to this grid to be able to be used for your attack move. Let me clean up this attack really fast and we can be on our way. So up here at the top we have our ultimates. It's very easy to forget that you have these, so I'd recommend that you use them as often as possible and practice using them. For instance, this Hypercharge. It does drain your guys' shields over about 10 seconds. But while they have shields left, it pretty much doubles their damage. It's absurdly powerful. Now you don't start off the campaign with all four of these ultimate abilities. You get them as you go through the levels. So by about level 7 you'll have gotten every single one of these. And they do drastically help how much damage you can do in a fight. For instance, the Firestorm can wipe out quite a bit, and if you're not careful it actually does friendly fire damage. Okay, so next we have the mega map and the mini map. So down here on the mini map it's pretty normal like most RTS games. But if you also hit M or this mega map button, it'll actually pop up here in front of the screen so you can better see what's going on. Next up in this right hand corner we've got a couple of stat screens that you can see what's going on. So for instance in this tab you can see all of your units. If you click on them it'll actually go to where they are on the map. Next we have buildings, which is the same thing but for buildings. We have production. So if I go and select this and I put a guy in production, you can see him up here and you can see where he's being produced. And if you do multiple things, this is a very good method of actually keeping track of how far along your upgrades are. You also have just normal stats, so you can see what your APM is and your frames per second. I normally try to just keep mine on either the units, or I sometimes just turn it off so I have a little bit less visual clutter. That about wraps it up for this gameplay video on some basic interface features. Next time we'll be going over basic unit overviews and their roles in your army and how to use them best, so we'll see you next time.